Hello, everyone. This is Awesome Sauce Radio. I am your host, Blind Adam. Thank you all for joining me tonight. Before we get started and have an amazing interview with the head editor in chief of Ahoy Comics, I just want to give a shout out to my two sponsors for today's episode. As always, I want to give a shout out to the Marco's Pizza. The Marco's Pizza is in Hewitt, New Jersey. 1926 Unionville Road, Hewitt, New Jersey, 07421 973 728 1344. Tell them you heard about them through Awesome Sauce Radio or Blind Adam and get yourself a free order of garlic nuts on Awesome Sauce Radio. Once again, at Marco's Pizza. Also, on April 26th and 27th, the New Jersey Super Comic Con returns to Jackson, New Jersey. I do not have a cited producer for tonight's episode. So just Google Super Comic Con New Jersey, and they have an amazing guest list, and tell them Blind Adam sent you. Now, I would like to bring in tonight's guest. He is the editor-in-chief of Ahoy Comics, Tom Hoyer. Am I pronouncing that correctly?
It's Pyer, yeah.
Pyer, all right. Oh, when you use assistive technology, sometimes it pronounces things weird. I apologize.
That's fine.
How are you tonight, Tom?
I'm fine, thanks. How are you?
Good.
Good, Adam.
So, how did you get into comics?
Oh my goodness, it was a long time ago. I always loved them my whole life, of course. And I was doing a local comic strip every week for an alternative newspaper. And it came to the attention of Roger Stern, who is a great comic book writer who had a great career at Marvel and was just moving over to DC to write Superman. And I met him at the Ithaca Comics Convention, Ithacon, and he seemed to like my work very much, and he really was a great stepping stone. He helped me break in, and I'll always owe him that.
That's awesome. I only met Roger once. Him and his wife were super, super nice people.
Oh God, Roger and Carmela, they are just the most wonderful people.
Yeah, I met them at a Terrific Comic Con a couple years back.
Mm-hmm.
They couldn't be more nicer, and just it's a really nice experience.
Yes.
So how did you come up with the idea for Ahoy Comics?
Well, I had a couple of friends. I had in particular, our publisher, Hart Seeley, was retiring from his career as a newspaper reporter. And he doesn't like sitting around. So he was looking for something to do that he could, he wouldn't be working for anybody, but he needed to just tackle something. And he and Frank Camuso, who was for years was the cartoonist for Hart's newspaper, and I were very good friends, are very good friends. And Hart, who's the only one of us who's not in comics, came up with the idea of starting a comic book company, so he just wanted to do something with us, and he found the money, and the rest is history. I mean, we were able to do this thing, and I'm very, very grateful for it.
That's awesome. What are some of the titles that Ahoy is known for?
Well, there is Second Coming by Mark Russell and Richard Pace and Leonard Kirk, which is a really wonderful, very sweet and well-intentioned comic about a Superman-like character who becomes involved with the second coming of Jesus Christ, and they become close friends. So it's like Superman and this towering religious figure who's devoted to peace, and then you've got the Superman figure who uses his fists, and what is the contradiction between them? It's a really cool comic. We got that from DC. They decided that they couldn't do it justice. They would have to censor it. and so they very nicely gave it up and helped us when we won the pro- the project. But we've got Babs by Garth Ennis and Jason Burrows, which is a very extremely funny barbarian Red Sonja type story. But if you know Garth
Yeah, and
Ennis,
that's the one. That's the one title that I've been from Hawaii that I've been picking up, and because I just love Garth.
it's funny.
Anything Garth Ennis does, I immediately love.
There's something about him, like he always hits the perfect note. He always types the perfect word. I don't know how he does it. But Babs is the funniest thing in the world. And if you like to laugh and you don't mind the odd uh, offensive passage, let's say, you will love this as I do.
Yeah.
Another big comic we're doing right now is Toxic Avenger, and that's going to be the theme of our summer. We're launching some Toxic Avenger titles. We licensed it from Trauma Entertainment last year, and it's been doing really well for us. And Matt Boris is writing it, who's a terrific writer, a newcomer to our kind of comics, but Matt was a Pulitzer Prize nominated editorial uh, cartoonist. So,
Wow.
um,
So the your line of Toxic Crusader comics has the blessings of Lloyd Kaufman and Trauma. Then
oh, we can't do it without them. I mean, legally, they've been very
I
supportive.
figured that much. Yeah, but
Yeah.
I've seen other licensed properties where you could tell where the publisher has the license, but you know the people who hold the license, it's like, yeah, it's a comic book.
Yeah,
You
no,
know,
they've been really supportive and really complimentary about what we're doing. Lloyd loves to gush about our work, and
uh,
they've
that's
and in fact he's got a little like Stan soapbox column on our letter pages. It's Lloyd's mop
all right.
bucket.
You just sold me about on picking these up and stocking these.
Oh, good,
Just
good.
to read the Lloyd's version of the Stan soapbox.
Yeah, they're they're pretty funny, and they're really fun. And it was his idea, Uncle Lloyd's mop bucket. It's called. And anyway, we have the trade paperback of Toxic Avenger coming out this year. Coming out in April, actually, very soon,
Nice.
along with the Babs trade paperback. And we've got in May we've got the Toxic Avenger pinup special that will is just what it sounds like. There'll be a bunch of really fine and great artists um, doing their take on Toxie. And then we've got Toxie Team Up coming in June, which is just what it sounds like. And in fact, in Toxie Team Up #1, Toxic Avenger teams up with Jesus Christ from Second Coming. So that's going to be pretty good.
All right. Uh, that's going to be awesome.
Yeah, yeah. So I can't wait for people to read that and see it. And,
You know,
and then
so
we'll have a volume 2 of Toxic Avengers main comic. And we'll have more things. We're gonna have more things. This is gonna be like the we call it the it's just gonna be the Toxic Summer.
nice. Uh, so you know what? What's your basically answers what you guys have coming up for the slate for the summer schedule as far as comics go. The Toxic Summer. Cannot wait.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'd like to mention too quickly a couple comics that are running right now
All
that
right.
I think are excellent. And one is Howl by Elisa Whitney and Morissette. And it's kind of a invasion of the body snatchers take, but it's set in Greenwich Village in the 1950s. And the main characters are modeled after Elisa's parents. Her father was Robert Sheckley, who was a pretty prominent science fiction writer.
Oh wow.
and her mother is Ziva Quitney, who who was also a fine writer, and uh, it's about what happens in this little community in Greenwich Village, this real community of science fiction writers, when aliens do come and take them over. So it's beautiful, and Morissette's art, if anybody knows it, is absolutely gorgeous. And then we've got Archaic, which is a comic by Melissa Olson, who's I think a pretty well-known novelist. And
Yeah, that's uh, what was it like having her do a comic?
well, she's brilliant. So Sarah Litt is the editor on that, so she could tell you more of the day-to-day details of working with Melissa. But I'm sure, I hear it's great. And
I,
Sally,
I just saw the press release today, and I was like, "Wow, this is pretty cool."
it is cool. I should mention the artist Sally Cantorino, and it's about uh, a woman with a single parent whose back is to the wall, who inherits surprisingly, unexpectedly, an island. And when she gets there, and when her family gets there, they find out that there are many magical things about the island, and some of them are threatening. So I just think it's really it's going now, and if you're sort of late on it, it will be collected, and it's so worth it.
Yeah, I was gonna wait for that to come out and trade.
Yeah, yeah, it's going to be good. Anyway, so that's those are the only other two I wanted to really beat into your brains.
That's good. I'd like to ask a question on behalf of my producer who's sick.
Oh,
Does Ahoy accept submissions from indie creators?
I'll tell you the very best things to submit to us are the prose short stories that we run on the back of the comics. We have an insatiable appetite for those, and we always need a lot of them. And we like good ones, and we like funny ones. And it's a really it's the quickest route in to like get to know us and get to be working with us. Um, it's faster than trying to do comics with us, because we have so many slots for these text stories and so few slots for comics,
Oh wow!
because of our um, we're just a scrappy little company, and we don't have all the money in the world. So our comics line is kind of limited, but we always need these stories.
All right, awesome. Yeah, yeah, it's good to know. How's the diamond, situation affected Ahoy, if at all?
We're fine. It hasn't affected us in any significant way. We wish them the best. Obviously, they've been great to work with, and
Like I said,
a lot of our and we're also working with Lunar, who I can't say enough good things about. So if there are options for ordering our books.
all right, cool. Uh, so what is Ahoy's summer convention slate look like?
Well, I told you about meeting Roger Stern at Ithacon
Mhm.
in Ithaca, New York, where Cornell University is, and Ithaca College, and we definitely do that show every year. It's like within an hour of our homes, and or no, an hour and a half. But and it's a great show, and it's small, but it's extremely welcoming and full of great uh, artists and writers. I recommend it to anyone if you can get there.
It's you know what? I may, depending on uh, what is Epica this year.
It is in April. I can get you the actual dates if you'd like to know. And I think think I have them right here.
Just because I want, like I said, I'm in, about to have cataract surgery done,
Oh,
so that might take me out of the convention circuit for the month of April.
well, I hope that goes really well for you.
Yeah, just basically they're just claiming that by removing the cataracts, it may bring some light into the retina and the optic nerve and improve my vision.
Oh, that'd be great. That'd be great.
So
Good luck. Good luck. I hope that goes so well.
thanks.
It is Ithaca is Saturday and Sunday, April 5th and 6th.
Yeah, like I said, you know what? It all depends on if I take the consultation, the surgery consultation. I might actually try to make it this year.
Oh, it'd be great to see you there.
Yeah.
I hope you
They
do.
have a great, I've heard nothing but great things about the show over the years.
Beautiful show. And they, I mean, we'll have a table there, so come up and hang out with us.
Yeah,
But
definitely.
this is the best show. Ed Catto, who's also affiliated with Ahoy, teaches entrepreneurship at Ithaca College, and the show takes place at Ithaca College, the current incarnation of the show. And his students run it, and they do such a tremendous job. They're all really like excited to be working on it, and it's the only show I've ever been to where if you pull up in your car with a bunch of boxes to bring upstairs, they will send students down to carry them for you.
A rarity in today's comic book convention circuit scene, as I can attest.
They're fantastic. So
that's awesome.
Anyone who can make it, I totally highly recommend it. And that is that's really the jewel of our convention here. We don't do a tremendous amount of it because for a couple of reasons. One is, I ain't young. I don't want to do a lot of traveling anymore. And another is we are such a tiny, scrappy little company that we kind of get lost in at the big shows. It's hard to be noticed. So. But we'll do panels at we tend to do panels at some of the bigger shows like Emerald City. We didn't this year, but we often do. New York City Comic Convention. We always try to have something there.
New York Comic Con it's the last 2 years has become way too much work for me.
Oh, it's I feel like a frog in a blender in that place.
Yeah, I hear I may actually, if my friends can get me in, I may actually do something I haven't done since 2019 and actually go to San Diego Comic Con.
Oh, good luck. I hope that happens for you if you want to do that. Yeah.
I'd like to, as I'm starting to get older, it's just like, I'd like to do San Diego like one more time.
Sure. Wear a mask.
Definitely. Like I said, I went to my first one back in '96. So.
Mm-hmm. Somebody I know gets COVID there every year. I mean, not the same person every time, but there's always someone who gets it there.
So, is there any properties to Ahoy that we may see on a big or small screen anytime in the future?
That is really up to other people. We've had projects that were looked at by studios, optioned by studios, but nothing really has come to fruition yet. And if anything ever does, we'll certainly beat the drum for it. You'll know about it. But it's just I don't know. It's like winning the lottery, sort of. The chances are I don't know. They're not fat, really.
I'm not sure. It just feels like lately, every 3 things I get an option, maybe one of them gets actually made.
Well, that's pretty good, actually. 1 out of 3 would be good. But
how do you feel about the whole from page to screen process of this golden era of being spoiled with other media comic book content?
Well, I'm living for the Superman movie.
You know what? I really hope it's good. I mean, the trailer looked great.
Yep. I just want to see Crypto. And Fantastic Four looks great. I think we might see a bit of an uptick.
I'm hoping.
There's always ups and downs, which we forgot because the first up lasted so long.
Yeah. But like I said, I think once when we get a little closer to July, we're going to be seeing Crypto everywhere we look.
That's all I want.
I can live with that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, there was that.
I want to be surprised if you see Crypto dog food.
There's a comic panel. Well, there was an issue of Adventure Comics, I think, in like maybe 1960-ish, right around there, where Crypto becomes a movie star, and there's a panel where he wins an Oscar.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, the one Crypto comic I remember as a kid was Superboy becomes blind for a little bit.
Yeah.
And then they have Crypto being the seeing eye dog.
Yeah.
Crypto keep messing through the entire issue to see he gets his sight back, keeps on messing up being a seeing eye dog.
Crypto's a wonderful character in those old comics because he's really pretty full of himself, and he always gets taken down a peg. And I love those Crypto stories.
They're great. They were also beautifully animated for the old Filmation cartoons as well.
Oh yeah. Those are cool. Those are nice. Yeah. Crypto is probably the best way to experience those. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, but like I said, Fantastic Four. I saw the trailer for the first time on the big screen when I saw Captain America finally.
Did you?
And I'm excited for Fantastic Four. I just hope the entire movie is good.
I hope so too. I really do. We'll see. We will absolutely see. I liked Captain America, all right.
I don't see what all the criticism was about, because it was a fun movie to make.
Absolutely. It was like, oh, it's continuity obsessed. Oh, it doesn't add up too much. I'm like, dude, that is half the comics I've read in my life. I love that.
Yeah, exactly. That first 15 minutes alone was a fun action movie.
It really was. It really was. I'm all for Captain America. I thought that was fun.
Yeah, sure. I'm hoping we get an extended cut to see all the Serpent Society stuff that was cut out.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Where do you see the future of small press indie comics going in the next couple of years?
Well, we're like cockroaches, aren't we? I mean, there never has not been companies like us, has there? It's just the idea in general. I understand we love comics and we're concerned. We want them to keep going. We want everything to keep going the way we like it. But I've been hearing the obituary for comics for like 40 years, and they just won't die.
Let's see. I've been hearing that the industry is dying since 94, 95-ish.
Yeah. I've been hearing it longer than that because I'm older.
Yeah.
But I don't get too worked up about it. For one thing, I don't have a head for business. And so when the solution to everything comes, it's not going to be from me. I'm just a barnacle. I just do editorial work, and that's what I want to do. But I just don't. I've just been hearing bad predictions for so long that I have trouble believing them.
Same here. Especially since the beginning of this year with everything that happened with Diamond.
Yeah.
And I was just like, tell some of my friends, like, you remember back in 96, 97, when Marvel went bankrupt, they were saying the same thing.
Yep.
And it turned around.
Yeah. Boy, did they ever.
Oh boy, they're all mine now. Yeah. So what are some of the joys of being editor in chief over at Ahoy?
Um,
Like what makes Tom get up, go to work being all excited on a day-to-day basis as the editor in chief?
well, for one thing, I work at home, so that's great. But I'll tell you, I was an editor for a few years in the early 90s. And then I wasn't until we started Ahoy in 20, well, we started working on it in 2017. And uh, I didn't, I didn't realize how much I'd missed it. I love interacting with creators and just seeing projects develop and maybe influencing them uh, to the extent that I feel is appropriate. And it's because when you write, usually, I mean, I've spent most of my career as a writer, and it gets lonely. You know, you're just in a room by yourself writing or not writing, mostly finding excuses not to write. But to get back into making comics with people directly, that's the thing I love about it.
That's awesome.
Cool.
You know, uh, you know, what advice would you give to someone uh, wanting to create comics in today's age?
Well, when I started out, things were very different, and but I think some of them were the same. I think it's probably good to um, be visible, go to conventions, get to know some people who are in there already in a very unobtrusive, not annoying way, um, and get people to like you a little bit, and see that you know what you're doing to some extent, and just be visible. Let them know about you. I think that is the best way, probably. Still, and of course, uh, we have, if you have your work online, if it's easy to go see, if it's good. It's very hard for writers as opposed to artists because editors have to make time to read scripts, and there isn't always time because it's a very demanding job. Artists art, you can decide if you like a piece of art in seconds, but it takes a while to read a whole script. So if you can get your idea drawn by somebody, that's probably a good thing to do. But don't like, I like to be, as an editor, I like to be involved with a project from the ground up. So if you come to me with a piece that's already drawn, lettered, and colored, it's probably, there's going to be something there that's not up to my standards, perhaps, and I certainly will feel robbed of being involved in the thing. So I would say get something drawn up, but that won't be the thing you try to sell. um, Would be my advice. Could be wrong, but it's the best way to approach me.
Well, if you can have one uh, creator come and do a project for Ahoy, who would it be?
Steve Ditko, but can't do it. all the all, all my answers to that question are like people who passed away.
Are in the creating comics up there?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love Chester Gould and Steve Ditko and Jack Kirby and anybody who's great and a little eccentric. Um, I would love to work with. And as far as the living, we've been lucky. I've had a lot of like people working for us who I admire a great deal, um, and you get a little practical when you work for a company for a while. So I might think of somebody who I've always wanted to work with, and then I'll think, they're probably too expensive. So
Yeah,
I,
that's when the realities of running a business come into play. I hear that.
yeah, it really is. It really is.
I love even when trying to book interviews sometimes.
Yeah.
And I like to give Hannah a shout out for setting this up tonight. As I initially I emailed her when she did the press release for Babes.
Hmm.
I wrote a just a letter to say, hey, if there's any possibility that Garth is doing interviews, because even as a fan of his, he's the one curator I've never gotten to meet at a convention.
Did you ask Hannah?
Yeah, I did, and she said he wasn't doing interviews at this time, and I was like, okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
Because I do understand here that a lot of the people I want are extremely busy.
Hmm.
Not every interview can be granted.
Yep.
Deadlines have to be met, and just she's like, I can give you the editor in chief time if you want. I was like, heck yeah,
Cool.
you know, but like I said, just my whole thing is, you gotta at least take the shot sometimes.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
hopefully one day my number one dream guest I will get.
Hmm.
I,
Who's that?
Mark Miller.
Okay.
He's like in my top 4 favorite comic book writers of all time.
Oh, bless your heart. Well, I hope you get him.
And the other one I've been trying for 10 years now, and I don't think I'm ever getting Frank Miller.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, my other 2 favorite creators have been passed away for quite some time.
Oh, that's too bad.
Stan Lee and Bill
Yeah.
Finger passed away when I was 1 year old. So I would love to get his side of the Batman story.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen it on several times, but
Well, I'm pleased that his side has come out after his death. I wish he'd been around to see it, but
yeah,
it's if it makes you feel any better, I don't think I can get Frank Miller either.
yeah. Like I said, I've met him a ton of times over the years. I've drinking beer with him at conventions.
Really? Good.
Yeah, you know what? I'll always be indebted to his run on Daredevil. I have a very rare eye condition, so I've been fighting blindness my entire life.
Cool.
The one thing that made going blind cool, Daredevil.
Yeah.
Which brings me to another question as an editor in chief. Do you think at some point, you could ever see a comic book in Braille?
We should, shouldn't we?
You know,
It's
I might just do something self-published.
Yeah.
Just do it as something very, very test marketed.
Mm-hmm. It'd be interesting. It'd be interesting to see what kind of results that would get. If,
I know it's not 100% cost effective.
right, it would probably best be run by somebody with some familiarity of with Braille publishing.
Said Braille publishing can't be any harder to learn than learning how to read and write this damn thing.
Right? Yeah. It's true.
That only took me 2 years to master at a elementary level.
It's very hard to move the big heavy stone when it's in one place. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it obviously can be done, or we'd still be living in caves. So that's a really interesting thing to think about. and ask around about. I'm really glad you brought that up.
No, like I said, I am someone who's for the last 35 years
Mhm.
has been very blessed to have the comic book industry to teach a blind kid how to see.
Yeah, that's
You know,
gorgeous.
uh, you know.
Are you, did I hear that you're a retailer?
I'm a semi-retired retailer.
Oh, okay. Where was your store?
I was in Northern New Jersey,
Oh, cool.
where it was, and
You're
I
in New
took.
Jersey and you're not reading Toxic Avenger?
What's that?
You're in New Jersey and you're not reading Toxic Avenger?
Uh, I'm kind of reading it, and it's just I prefer. I'm. It's more. I think I have a buddy of mine who made motion comics out of all of them.
Cool.
So yeah, I do a lot of my comics right now. The reason I say I'm semi-retired is because my vision got really worse 10 years ago.
Uh-huh.
To the point where I switched being a retailer into being a semi-retailer / podcaster.
Do you have a way to experience comics?
Yeah. Um, I a lot of it's done through audio. A lot of it's there's a lot of YouTubers who do motion comics.
Oh, great.
Uh, I have 3 aspiring actresses in the New York City area who I pay an hourly fee to read.
Nice.
You know, and there's so many YouTube channels who do breakdowns of comics now.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of sucks because like for as far as YouTube and motion comics and all that, when it comes to the big 2, you can find everything.
Oh, okay.
And when it comes to like some of the indie stuff, especially stuff from like Hawaii or a Man Cave, some of the smaller studios, like a Keen Spot, stuff like that, a little bit more difficult to find.
Right.
And then I'm blessed where I go to enough conventions. It's like, hey, come friendly with a couple of cosplayers. Like, how much would it cost to have you read this graphic novel and let me record it? So I'm starting to do a lot more that way now.
Cool. Very cool.
Will I ever get to appreciate the artwork the way I did when I was a kid? Unfortunately, until there's not a cure for my particular kind of blindness, no. Can I still appreciate the stories and the creativity and everything it brings to the table?
Mm-hmm. Good. Great.
So what is in Tom's reading stack? Like what comics as a comic book fan, assuming that you're still a comic fan, does Tom read?
I'm perhaps a little embarrassed by this. Aside from, I read everything Ahoy does, obviously.
Yeah.
I'm a fan of all of it. I would say the overwhelming bulk of comics I read, and I do read comics, is from people who were working in the 40s, 50s, and 60s. I go back and read a lot of old stuff. I've been running through Harvey Kurtzman's stuff, or I might be spending a
I
couple
love,
weeks.
I love Harvey stuff.
Yeah, I might.
Mad is amazing. Some of his horror stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I could take or leave it because I'm not the biggest horror guy in the world.
Right.
But I hate that those early Mad magazines.
Oh, he's so funny and so good. He did a lot of war and a lot of war stuff for EC, a lot more than horror, and some of it's really amazing. I love it when he drew the story too. He had just the wettest ink all over everything, and these broad, bold strokes of black. And so I might be spending time with him or with Basil Wolverton or Steve Ditko or I have this sort of thing that is maybe a little spiritual, and that is the people who suffered for comics, like during the comic book scare of the 50s, who had terrible page rates and didn't own anything and were ostracized by their neighbors because the news was saying that comic books were poisonous to children. And yet they still kept doing them, and they improved them and gave their all their creativity to them. And those people are just saints to me. And I want to read everything they ever did.
So just the one thing, I, anything from PC, I will check out because I still say that the one clip of Bill Gates that's in my head
Hmm.
is that one little clip from the Ten Hangings. Yes, I made horror comics. So what? Just him telling off the Congress, like the Senate, like that, just still brings a smile to my face. Are we afraid of our? Isn't this America? Can't parents just parent their children?
Yeah.
Also, I'm a huge fan of Jack Kirby.
Yeah, me too. I love him.
I'm actually really looking forward to the when it gets made, the Jack Kirby documentary.
Yeah.
Hopefully, his grandkids will be a big part of that because they're sweethearts.
They certainly they certainly stick up for grandpa all the time. You see them on social media. And it's nice to see.
Yeah, I bought one or two things. I bought a couple T-shirts out of the Jack Kirby Art Star every
Uh-huh.
now and then. I always miss out on the Jack Kirby care packages.
He was really something, that guy. I think about him all the time.
Yeah, so like I said, I never got to meet Jack. I did get to meet Roz.
Oh, cool.
I met her at the San Diego Comic Con '97.
I bet she was nice.
She was a sweetheart.
Yeah.
You know, I thanked her. You know, I told her how much the Fantastic Four Silver Surfer story really meant the world to me because, once again, it was something that, you know, the blind girl saves the entire universe.
Yeah, that's right.
So once again, it just helped me pick myself up, and all right, blindness is going to be a blessing, not a curse.
Yeah.
You know, Amazon stop. Did you see that the trailer for the Stan Lee documentary that's coming out?
No, I didn't see the trailer now. Does it look interesting?
It I don't know. It's basically I don't know how to feel about it. It's one of his
Oh,
personal assistants.
it's about how he was abused.
Yeah,
Oh, that sounds dire.
and it looks really exploitative, and it really angers me inside just a tad.
Uh-huh.
It's like you know you're right there in front of it. You used your video camera, but said and did nothing.
Right. Put the camera down and help him. Yeah.
So I don't know how to feel about it yet.
Yeah. Those things are tough.
Yeah, so where can my audience find Ahoy online?
We are on Blue Sky and Instagram, and I think there might still be a Facebook presence. I personally do Blue Sky a lot. So
I have not gotten on Blue Sky yet.
I like
So
it. It's like
it's just like crap. Now there's one more social media thing I have to worry about.
I like it because it's like Twitter used to be.
That's what everyone's telling me. I just like I said, I have to maybe tomorrow with my personal assistant. I'll make an account.
But on Blue Sky, it's ahoycomicmags.bsky.social.
Right.
And I gotta look and see what I am. TomPryor.bsky.social. So
Very cool. Well, Tom, I want to thank you for the interview tonight.
yeah, thank you.
I want to thank you for being a guest. I want to thank you for some of the coolest comics on the indie scene of things.
Cool.
And everyone, let's get ready for the toxic summer.
Yes. Yeah, it's going to be really toxic.
Yeah. All right, you have a good night, Tom.
You too, Adam. Thank you very much.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
I really enjoyed it.
Yep. All right, everybody. There's another episode of Awesome Sauce Radio. Once again, I'd like to thank DeMarco's Pizza. DeMarco's Pizza is the greatest pizzeria in all of New Jersey. Check them out, please. They're at 1926 Union Valley Road, New Jersey 07421 973 728 1344. And of course, April 26th, 27th, there's the Super New Jersey Comic Con happening in Jackson. They got pretty much the entire cast of X-Men 97 and Derek Robinson for all of the boys. Remember, we don't need set to have a vision. It's not what happens to what you do about it. Please go check your dream. You just might catch them. I am off to go watch the season finale of Invincible. I'll see you on the flip side. Take care. Yeah, computer be
Link grab buttons. Awesome. Clickable button. Clickable button. Clickable button. Pause. Clickable button. End stream. End stream. Outro bit. Clickable button. Set outro button. Not yet. Button. End stream.